Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, yes, or know your nation, know yourself. You can mix the two. Right. Tonight, we are going to be talking. Your questions are in, actually. There's actually really quite a lot of questions here. Yeah. I'll see how many we can get through. But tonight, everyone, just to get straight out the gate, we are going to be talking about Duc L'Orange today, also known as Donald Trump, and what is going on with the MAGA base. And also as well, we're seeing his health condition. Yeah. This, what is it called? Chronic Venous Insufficiency. So we're going to be looking at that. And we're going to be looking a bit at his chart, because I did say something like this would happen. I've just come from tennis today. I just feel like I have not had time for anything. Everything, one thing has just led on to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. You know, when you have days like that, where you want to take a breather and you want to have a little bit of a moment and just be still for a while. No, none of that. It's just being constantly on the go. So I'm feeling a little bit, and my face is warm. In fact, actually, let me turn on my fan. Sorry about that. Let me turn on my fan. And when you hear my, you'll hear a little alarm go off, and I'm going to dash off because I'm going to have to switch off the oven. Yeah, because I had some chicken marinating, which I marinated earlier. I put all the marinade and stuff in, and it was still quite frozen. And then I had to run and go and, play a bit of sport and stuff, because it's obviously good for my health, blood sugar and stuff like that. So I have to cook it tonight. Obviously, I can't leave that to the morning. The chicken will go very bad. So I've literally had to bang it in the oven, turn up, the whatever. So you'll hear an alarm, and then I'll switch off the alarm and I'll just quickly switch off the oven. And then the chicken and the tomatoes and everything will be cooked perfectly. So, and I can have that for breakfast tomorrow. So welcome everyone. Thank you guys for joining me. Of course, this is Friday Fry Up, as we call it now. You're piling in. Let's just say some hellos first. Let's see who's in the room, and then we're going to dive in. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at Trump's chart and why this is happening. Now, I did speak about this many moons ago now, I think on my financial channel, and I was looking at how Trump's chart and Elon Musk's chart would impact the USA. I wanted to maybe get a review of that clip today, and I'll have to do it on my next solo show. And just to basically rewind and play the tape again, so you can see those initial predictions that I made in January, how they've basically transpired and come true. I think I even said that Elon would be out of the government by sort of like April, May, something like that. It ended up, I think, being May in the end. But the important thing to understand is that I also overlaid Trump's chart over the USA chart. And you've heard me talking about all of these things, haven't you? About this reality check. Yeah. My God, aren't we feeling it? Yeah. This reality check where Saturn is now in sidereal Pisces with Neptune. Yeah. And it's causing all sorts of bits and bobs. Let me just put my phone, on airplane mode. Let's just do that. And I've got 8 minutes until my alarm goes off. And I said, look, Trump is going to be having this in the 8th house. It deals with other people's money, as we know. And he had the big, his Bitcoin scam, essentially, which made him for once actually a bona fide billionaire. But it also deals with scandals. The 8th house also deals with scandals, and it can also deal with health issues as well. So if you are a Leo rising sidereal, doesn't mean you're guaranteed to have an health issue, but it's something you need to look at. I'm Cancer rising, as you guys know, and I've already had Saturn go through my 8th house, and that's when I started having issues with my blood sugar. Literally, like 2 days after he entered my 8th house, that's when issues started. Yeah, so this is something that has been knocking around, obviously, for Trump for a while. Let's see who's in the house, and then what we're going to do is we're going to look at his chart, and we're going to see the confluence of certain things that are going on. because this is not a quick transit. Remember, Saturn stays in the sign for 2.5 years. We're about, you can call it half a year. No, it's not half a year through, because Saturn moved into Sidereal Pisces on the 29th of March. So let's call that March, April. So April, May, June, July. So look, it's like a year and 2 years and 2 months to go. Yeah, that Trump is going to be under this influence. So let's see who's here. And then we're going to look at his chart. Pardon me as I clear my throat. Deborah's saying, no lights, no peeps. I must be early. Hello, says Carl. Oh, what's this? Carl says, I've been playing my Switch 2 and watching pre-1990s classic films, trying to stay calm during these dark times. Yes, I can understand. Also as well, to let you know, Mercury Mercury went retrograde yesterday. But before a planet goes retrograde, it stands still, and it is going retrograde in the sign of Cancer, which is the emotions. So a lot of us, have you guys been feeling, just let me know in the chat, have you been feeling more emotional than usual? Have you been having memories of people from the past, relationships from the past? Have people been coming back from your past? Have you had old feelings come back to you that you thought that you forgot? Yeah, let me know, because Mercury, whenever a planet is retrograde, it means review, revise, reassess. But Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Cancer, which is all to do with the emotions, also to do with the mother, home, real estate. Maybe you've been having to fix things in your home and all of that kind of stuff. Do let me know. Let's see who else is here. Yvonne says, is it true that Pam Bondi is not disclosing the Epstein files because her brother is in it? Aha! Now, you guys may have seen, if you've not seen already, but on my Wednesday show, yeah, because we did Hogelish, on the Wednesday show, someone asked a question about Pam Bondi. And do you remember the cards that came up? It was like, whoa. I mean, we were kind of like, we were kind of laughing a bit, but we're just like, my God, this is extraordinary. She does have a connection. So if her brother's connected, that wouldn't surprise me at all, because what the cards were revealing was that there's some relationship connection there. And the card Lady G got was this body in the forest. And we were just like, I was saying, it's like she knows where the bodies are, you know? So I think there's someone very close to her. If it's not her, then it's someone very close. And it looks like maybe her brother is involved. Wouldn't surprise me at all. These rings, you know, they all know each other and they're all trying to protect each other. And obviously Trump is one of the main ringleaders apart from Epstein himself. Let's see who else is in. Mary saying hello to everyone. Shirley saying hello. Hey, there's Shirley from Texas. So sorry about these floods that you've been having in Texas. New York as well. I think Oklahoma, like places have been having a lot of floods all over the world. Someone says here, finally waiting just in time for the live to begin. Good evening, says Wanda. All right, so many of you are here. So let's dive in now. Let's take a look at Trump's chart. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. And let's just have a little look-see. So I'm going to do share screen. Do share entire screen. And then we're going to go here and we're going to get Trump. So this is one of my clients today. So just ignore this. But a shout out to Misha anyway. Thank you so much. And of course, if you'd like a consultation with me, then of course you just visit HogarthGlobalAstrology.com. It's linked in the description anyway, if you fancy a consultation. Okay, so let's go here. Let's do, yes. And then let's go here. Let's put here, I think I've got him under politics. And then if I put Donald, oh God, you would think it, oh, come on, don't play about. Donald, there we are. Duck L'Orange. All right. Okay. You guys who have been watching my channel for a while, you will be very familiar now with Donald Trump's Vedic chart. But for those that are not familiar, I always just give a quick little overview. Yeah. So here's Donald Trump's. Oh, in fact, let me get my. I'm hoping that you can see the cursor, big red arrow that I've got here. The important thing to understand is that Donald Trump is a Leo rising. Yep, he was born on the 14th of June, 1946, 10:54 a.m., Jamaica Hospital, New York. Yeah, so he's born in Jamaica, New York. He is a Leo rising. His ascendant is Leo at 6 degrees 51 minutes. Very closely conjunct his rising sign. He has Mars. Yeah, planet of passion, planet of anger. Yeah, planet of rage. And it's in Leo, friendly sign. Yeah, so his Mars is very, very powerful, and it's conjunct the star Regulus, yeah, which is in the heart of the lion. The star Regulus is said to have the energy of Mars and Jupiter combined. So anytime Jupiter is conjunct this star or Mars conjunct the star, it does make that planet a lot more powerful. I've got my Jupiter conjunct this star. Duck Larange has got his Mars. Yeah, so this is what's giving him a lot of anger, a lot of energy, a lot of all of the, frankly, douchebaggery that we've been seeing. Yeah, but we're starting to see that there's health issues. Now, if you look over here where it says TR, TR means transits. And this is where the planets are right now. So just to give a recap for everyone, sidereally and astronomically, this is where the planets are. So we have Pluto in sidereal Capricorn, 8 degrees 31 minutes retrograde. Rahu is going through sidereal Aquarius, 25 degrees 53 minutes. Saturn is going through Pisces, 7 degrees 41. Ceres is there. Oh, that's the alarm. That's the alarm. 1 minute. I'll finish this and I'll dash off. Then we have Neptune, also retrograde at 7 degrees 54. This is a big part of what all these floods are about, guys. Yeah, Neptune, with Saturn and Neptune together, but that Neptune retrograde. Then we have the moon in Aries, and it's there with Chiron, a moon at 14 degrees 48 minutes. Uranus is at 6 degrees 16 minutes, sidereal Taurus. Venus is there, 21 degrees 48 minutes in Taurus. Jupiter is in Gemini. Currently, I think, yes, a bit combust the sun, 14 degrees 39 minutes of Gemini. The sun has just moved into 2 degrees 21 minutes of sidereal Cancer. Mercury now retrograde at 21 degrees 20 minutes in sidereal Cancer, yeah, bringing up all the emotions, yeah, the emotions, things from the past, yeah. And we have Mars at 24 degrees 9 minutes in sidereal Leo, getting very, very close to K2 at 25 degrees 33 minutes of sidereal Leo as well. When these two are together, it can talk about anger, it can talk even about terrorist attacks or explosions, stuff like that. I think a big part of this explosion is also to do with MAGA, yeah. So the important thing to understand is that Duck Larange now has Neptune. Now Neptune can deal with funny illnesses. Just to let you know, literally, Neptune can deal with funny diseases. Particularly things that are difficult to diagnose or just a little bit strange or a little bit unusual. It's usually the realm of Neptune. Saturn, of course, is what? Our challenges, our duties, our responsibilities. But wherever Saturn goes, we need to fix that house. So wherever Saturn is in your main chart, in your D1, yeah, in your D1 chart, when you were born, wherever Saturn is, that shows where your challenges are, where you're going to have to master something. You're going to have to become the master. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to dig deep to get the reward. Yeah. But when Saturn rewards, pardon me, it can be quite incredible. Yeah. However, of course, the planets keep moving. They keep transiting. So we also get the influence from the planets when they move. And now for all Leo ascendants, the Cancerians, we had this, the previous one, yeah? Because obviously we're one back, yeah? So we've had Saturn move through our 8th house for the last 2.5 years. But for Leos, but for Duck Larange in particular, it's going through the 8th. Now, this is very significant. So I want you to superimpose, you see here, we've got Saturn, Neptune, and Ceres here, but just imagine they're over here. They're in Pisces, but just imagine they're in Trump's chart. So he has them in the 8th house, which I refer to as the house of what? Sex, death, and rock and roll. But it's not just that. The 8th house deals with transformation of all kinds. The 8th house deals with other people's money. Yeah. So before, we need to remember, before Trump was, what was it? Before he was inaugurated? Yeah, I think it was before he was inaugurated. Anyway, he launched his meme coin. Do you remember? That scam meme coin made him billions. But Saturn hadn't changed signs yet. Remember, Saturn changed signs on the 29th of March, 2025 with that big old stellium. And do you remember I said this is going to be very karmic. It's going to be a big reality check for everyone because this is happening in the 4th house of the United States. And look what's happening. Yeah. 4th house deals with homeland, security, family, mother, education, vehicles, our sense of power, security. The 8th house, like I said, deals with transformation, and it very much deals with death. It really can. Saturn going through the 8th house can be a dicey time, particularly for the Cancer ascendant and the Leo ascendant, because Saturn doesn't like the sun or the moon, and they don't like him. Yeah, doesn't do well in each other's signs. So when Saturn for the Cancer ascendant and the Leo ascendant is a very dangerous planet. As much as I love Shani, yeah, don't get me wrong, I love my planets, as you know, in dialogue with them all the time. He's a wonderful teacher, incredible teacher. Some of my most profound insights have come from Saturn. But if you do have those ascendants, he is quite a dangerous planet. It's difficult for the Leo and the Cancerians because it's sun and ruled by the sun and moon. Dark Larange is Leo rising. So what is, he's now having he's still got 2 years and loose change of this transit. But he's a much older person now. Yeah. So when Saturn brings health problems when you're a bit older, you know, do you see it's a bit more, yeah, it's a bit more like that. So this is a difficult transit. Also, as well, the 8th house deals with scandal. And Neptune as a planet deals with scandals as well. But Saturn is the planet of reality. Neptune is the planet of illusions and delusions. And do you remember how I said, like, Saturn will come along, pop, 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 pop. So now, MAGA, their illusions and delusions about Dark Larange are being popped. And I think this is why it's so intense now, because Saturn has moved. It's moved into his 8th house of scandal. Now, the 8th house can be a wonderful house as well. It can deal with, you know, ironically, it can deal with rejuvenation. It can deal with metaphysics, yeah, and the occult. That's a positive way to use an 8th house transit. Yeah, get your tarot cards out, get your astrology out, do your investments and, you know, all of this kind of stuff, because it's other people's money. But Saturn is also accountability and karma, and Trump has a lot of karma, obviously, and now it's starting to come through, and we see his base are not letting it go. Normally they would, but this is touching them now. I think also as well because of that absurd Big Beautiful Bill, which we know is an absolute horror show. But you see Saturn is popping the illusions and the delusions. Saturn here in his 8th will aspect his 2nd house. And if you look here in his 2nd house, he has Jupiter, but he also has Neptune when he was born. Yeah. This can also deal with big fantasies and illusions and delusions. But the most important thing here, do you see Chiron is being aspected? The wounded healer. Saturn aspecting the wounded healer in Trump's chart, and also aspecting Neptune. And it means Neptune's also aspecting itself. So this could be quite a danger time for Dark Larange. You know, we've been, you know, us readers and stuff have been talking about his health for a while. Pardon me. But you can see here that this is a major health threat. Let me turn off the oven and I'll be back. Un momento. It's just us, so you know. There we are. That didn't take long, did it? We are back. What else can we glean from Dr. Larange's chart? Let's see. Is he getting in? No, I think that's the main one. Main one, very difficult. Let's see where Saturn will be aspecting. Ah, yes, from the 8th house, Saturn will also aspect his 10th, because Saturn aspects 3 places, 7 places, and 10 places from himself. So Saturn is aspecting his sun. The sun deals with health and vitality, also deals with name and fame and career, particularly when it's in the 10th house, which it is for Trump. And it's also there with Rahu, which deals with the extremes, liars and charlatans. And Uranus is here as well, sudden shocks and surprises. So Saturn is triggering quite a lot of that. I think the backlash has been a surprise for him. I've already spoken that he's aspecting 7 places away, which is Trump's 2nd house. But Saturn also aspects 10 places from itself, which I call the mule kick. Yeah, it's a backward square. So if we count from Pisces, 1, 2, 3, 4, it means Saturn is also targeting Trump's 5th house. The 5th house deals with giving consultation and advice to others. It deals with our sense of fun and frivolity, but it also deals with children and creativity. So you never know, his children might also be a bit in the sweatbox or something like that. I'm stopping the share there. I think that's enough. I don't want it to be too much on the astrology. Let me know your thoughts on that, guys. What do you reckon, what I've just shared with you? Let's see here. Knowledge Seeker says, oh, what a lovely picture. What fabulous hair you have. Wow. You know what I find shocking? The amount of men getting on social media hysterically crying about their lost trust in Trumpelstiltskin. It's bizarre. Really, are they? Wow. But you know what it is that their illusions and their delusions about Duck Larange are being destroyed. They are now realizing, I mean, it's only taken them 9 years, yeah. But what these men are realizing is, they realize now that they have been advocating for the very deep state that they said they were against. They realize that they've put their love, their energy, their spirit, their soul, their essence into this man. They have sacrificed jobs, incomes, career, friends, family to follow this man. And now they've realized they've backed the you know what. Saturn as a planet is a hardcore planet, you know. Don't get me wrong, I love Saturn, and never insult Saturn, because a lot of people are like, oh, damn Saturn. No, don't. Because Saturn gives that reality all too often that we want to avoid. These men who are crying, weeping over Trump, as you say, they have been avoiding the obvious reality that has been so blatant to the whole world, let alone America. And it's only now they're seeing it. So they are now going through actually a trauma process where they've realized they've been conned on so many levels and they've lost so much for a charlatan. It's all fake. It was all lies. And now they realized when their friends were telling them, dude, you need to think again. When they lost family members who's saying, I love you, but I can't support you. You're supporting this felon. Oh no, it's deep state, it's blah, 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 it's fake news, it's the Democrats, it's the this, that. They bought it hook, line, and sinker. Now they can't deny it anymore because Saturn is there. Yeah. Pop, 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 pop. Brutal, but necessary. Yeah. So let me just say some thank yous here. Thank you, Catherine. Much appreciated for your kind donation. I really do appreciate that. And thank you, Scott, for your kind donation as well. Much appreciated. And at the moment, we've got 492 of you in the house. So that is very, very good. Let's kind of have a little scan through and see what else you guys are saying, because I love what you say in the chat. What's this? What's this here? Lynette Ray is saying, you know, Stephen Colbert was let go by CBS. Officially, he and his team will continue until May 2026. It's clear that the orange one is ultimately responsible. Yeah, of course. He's trying to burn down everything as much as he can. Buddy Burney says, we are here. Helen Wheels says, Colbert should run for office. What else do we have here? Oh, someone's saying it. So Brent Travis says, hi, Hoagie, my entire week has been as you described. Not a spare moment to take a breath, but good to see you. Thank you. Yeah, I've just been, and also as well, look, I should know this, yeah? Obviously, I'm a Neo-Vedic astrologer, and you would think I'm checking my own chart all the time. No, I don't. They say astrologers shouldn't obsess over their own chart, which is very, very true. But I am very affected by Mercury retrogrades because my moon sign is Gemini, my sun sign is Virgo, and my ascendant degree is in Cancer, but it's in Aslesha. And Aslesha is a Mercury-ruled nakshatra. So no wonder I've been feeling a bit all of a tizzy, yeah? As Mercury speeds up in his retrograde, it will calm down, and then he'll stop again, and we'll feel a bit for a few days, and then he'll speed up again direct. But Mercury does go retrograde around about 3 times per year, and always in the same element. So the next time he goes retrograde, it would be in Scorpio. Yeah, it should be in Scorpio, and then the next time he goes retrograde after that should be Pisces, or maybe we've had the Pisces one already. Sorry, I forget. I need to double check. Anyway, so yes, sorry you've been feeling a bit discombobulated. KN saying yes, having more emotional old stuff. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of old stuff just coming up from the past, and you're going to be like, why? You know, one of my friends today was like, why am I crying? Why am I crying? I'm just thinking about old things, and it's Mercury retrograde in Cancer. Angela saying yes. Let's see, Tracy Lynn. Hello, Tracy. Oh, gorgeous, lovely picture. Question, who is behind all the leaks we are suddenly getting? Had they been sitting on it and waiting for the right time? Is it a concerted effort to finally take him down? Oh, I could well be. Let's have a quick pull on that, and then let's get into the questions. And you guys keep commenting, as you always do. I love your comments. You're such intelligent people, astute and intelligent people. So I've got great fans who watch my show. You know, I may not have the most massive numbers in the world, but you guys are great. You guys are great. Very intelligent people. All right, let's see what's going on. What is it? Is someone leaking against Duck L'Orange? Yeah, to try and take him down. All right, let's have a look. Slap this. My mouth gets dry from all the talking. All right. Is someone briefing against Duck L'Orange? You know what? These people are sharks, you know. He surrounded himself with sociopaths and psychopaths. And when they smell blood, they go for the jugular. I think they smell blood. If there's one thing that's been rock steady, it's been his base, hasn't it? The rusted on ones, as we would say. And they're abandoning him. And when he insulted them, what was it, a couple of days ago? Said they're all weak and blah, blah, blah. They hated that. Ooh. This is interesting. So the question was, who is behind all the leaks that are suddenly getting, we're suddenly getting? Had they been sitting on it and waiting for the right time? Is it a concerted effort to finally take him down? So if we look here, these cards are interesting. Straight away, what we have here, we have the Queen of Pentacles. And you know, when I'm doing a political reading, I often refer to this as the base, yeah, the base, the voters and stuff like that. But this is also speaking about a woman. Now, normally it would be women with dark hair, so I'm not quite sure if this is a Pam Bondi, but she or someone else behind the scenes, so it could be a woman that might be facilitating this. Yeah, literally, I just have read it, female card, but this is also talking about the base as well, his base. If we look here, we have the victory card, the 6 of Wands. Now, this is actually a very kind of a reinforcing card. It deals a lot with victory. Yeah, it deals a lot with victory and success and stuff like that. But technically, it is showing up in the obstacle position. And we're reading about Trump here. So, you know, the negative connotation normally applies. So we can imagine that this card is upside down. And when the 6 of Wands is upside down, it means the opposite of victory. Quite literally, sometimes the cards can be that simple. So right now, he doesn't feel like he is winning. He is feeling like he is underwater. We're already seeing that he's got the issues with that condition. I've actually got it up. So after I've done this read, we're going to look at the condition. But he's not feeling like he's winning at the moment. And that means there might be a woman behind the scenes who's actively working for his loss. If we see here, we got the Knight of Swords. You'd never really want to see this one coming up. This is the card of attack, of aggression. It can deal with spitefulness. It can deal with cruelty. The positive of this is trying to fight the good fight. You know, there's not many positive connotations with this card because it means aggression, attack. He is now under attack. He's trying to attack because with Duck L'Orange, his philosophy is the best form of defense is attack. But I think this is his base, and it's also showing everything is speeding up because a lot of people, imagine if you really detest Duck L'Orange, which a lot of these Republicans do, but he's been very powerful, he's been very strong, you're not being able to kind of shift him. But if he's starting to become very unpopular with the base, this is their chance to attack. Do you see? Like when they attacked Caesar, yeah, they all brought their daggers out at the same time. Yeah. If we look here, we see the Judgment card. Yeah. So this is the base. This really is the base. They are getting the bugle call. Yeah. The wake up call. This is supposed to represent Archangel Michael. Yeah. The Archangel of Justice. Yeah. They are waking. The dead are awakening. The brain dead are like, oh, Epstein. Oh my God, he's with Epstein. Yeah, it's like, yeah, they're having a revelation. Yeah, the Judgment card is a revelation. It can be a flash of insight, but it can also be shocking as well because it's literally raising the dead. So they are hearing this call for the first time when, you know, many of their Democrat friends and family members would have been shouting this call for ages, but now they're starting to hear it because it's really Saturn. Yeah. And then if you look here, we get the outcome card, which is the King of Cups. And of course, you guys would know we normally associate this card with Biden or with democracy and stuff like that. Tonight, it's a little bit different because we are talking about Duck L'Orange. Could it be, if there is, now remember, this is a hypothetical, and I've just based this on a question that's come in on the chat, that there is a woman somewhere undermining Duck L'Orange so that he has to endure some kind of loss, especially while he's facing the attack and the aggression from his base that are now waking up, yeah, the Judgment card, to hopefully restore democracy. This is also a card, the King of Cups, we associate with democracy as well. Because this chaos, it cannot continue. It cannot continue. So anyway, I hope you guys found that interesting. All right, let's read out one of your questions. What's this? Oh, let's see here. Roxanne is saying, a lovely picture as well. Roxanne is saying, Brian Taylor Cohen reports that his administration hired 1,000 FBI agents in March to comb through Epstein files and delete all the references to Trump. Oh my God, that wouldn't surprise me at all because half the bloody book would have been him. Yeah, he's been friends with Epstein for what, 10, 15 years? and it emerged that he did this card. He's like, oh, I don't draw. And apparently there was this card of the outshapeable bodies woman, and in there he'd written like, oh, you know, all our secrets that we enjoy weekly, and you know, dodgy as you know what. Let's see here, some more people. Ohio girl is saying lovely picture as well. Cancer rising too. I got really sick during Saturn in my 8th, had to change my life completely. I'm much better now and never want to go back. Oh, bless you, bless you. Well, well done for recovering. Yeah, for us Cancerians, it's been tough, you know. It's been a really tough couple of years, particularly with health. Like Saturn going through your 8th house. He is famous for bringing health issues. Us Cancerians have just going through it, but of course the Leos. Now, look, if you are Leo rising sidereal, don't want you to panic, yeah? Your crypto investments could also do well as well if you've got crypto, or you may get some inheritance, or, you know, something like that. Or this is a really good time to go into esoterica, like I said. But let me tell you, from the Cancerians, it's been tough. And what we need to remember, as I said, Cancerians and Leos, for Cancerians and Leos rising, Saturn is a particularly difficult planet. For Taurus and Libra, he's good. Yeah, he's the Yoga Kaka. He's actually a good planet for them. Yeah, Saturn's not bad for everyone. Just the way Jupiter is not good for everyone. For some ascendants, Jupiter is a difficult planet. But for Leos and the Cancerians, yeah, we get that. Yeah, we really do get the slaps. Oh, someone's saying she is in it. So yeah, I'm sure she is. Someone's saying very emotional, Oxford Cat. Scott saying emotions are crazy, past memories coming back. So you see, now of course we know there is a big difference between Vedic astrology and Western tropical, and don't get me wrong, you know, I'm not anti-tropical. I learned tropical astrology first. Yeah, I mastered that one first. But of course, they're 24 degrees ahead. They're in a different sign. They'll be talking about Mercury being in Leo, and they'll be talking about leadership and stuff like that, and leaders having a tough time, you know, which they are. But in the collective, a lot of us are just feeling a lot of emotions. And actually, that reminds me, actually, I just need to give a shout out to Fran, who gave me a wonderful healing consultation. I was just feeling a little bit kind of like overwhelmed and, you know, just struggling with, like, you know, some of my emails and stuff. I was doing them, but I was like, oh. Anyway, we did this neurological regression into my past and stuff. And we found the event in childhood, which was triggering this. And anyway, she's brilliant. She did a fantastic job. And, oh, I was all over my email. And it's gone, you know. I was just really feeling just this sense of doom as well, like it, because it's so much, isn't it? Duck L'Orange is so much. I know we're not supposed to wish people dead, but my God, you know, exit stage left. But then what will he leave behind? Oh, anyway. Let's see here. Deborah is saying, hopefully cancelling Colbert and ruining 60 Minutes will hasten the demise of CBS Paramount. So greedy and disappointment. Yeah, didn't they want to have some merger or something like that, which is why they paid Duck L'Orange the money. Sarah is saying, I'm having horrible insomnia right now. Oh, bless you. That's part of it as well, particularly if you're very mercurial. Yeah, your sleep is going to be up the spout. I've been struggling with my sleep as well. All of it is the drama as well. Jerry, hello, Jerry, our Canadian person. There's obviously more of you watching from Canada, but we know Jerry's bona fide Canadian. Hello there. Yes, maple flag. So Jerry's saying, building a suite in my basement to keep busy helps me to deal with all the crazy. Yes, good for you. Great profile picture as well. So look, we're all feeling it, aren't we? And then someone's saying here, Annie's more saying, because I brother and Trump, this administration is so corrupt. Who can help us? Yeah, it's just too much, isn't it? Angela's saying, do you think Ivana was bumped off because she had an info on Trump's dealings with the Epstein Island? Well, remember on that, Angela, we read on that on Hogelish, and basically the answer was yes. So we did read on that. Oh, let's just see here. Carl is saying, I'm one of the many Americans seeking to escape Trump's regime. Should I move to Japan or maybe Canada or Australia? I'm thinking of Japan. I would say Japan. Yeah. Japan is a very calm country. Yeah. And let me tell you, a lot of people don't know this. Oh, look, oh God, oh, how did that happen? My tarot cards got a bit wet. But Japan is actually a very cheap country to live in. They're having a little bit of inflation now, but they've not had inflation for like 10 years. And that's not even a joke. One of my friends, Chris Hamilton, and as you guys know, I was in Japan last year. I couldn't believe how cheap it was, and quality. I'm saying affordable and cheap, but quality. Because you know the Japanese, they don't do this. They don't do dega. Yeah, for them, like cheap and cheerful is like the 7-Elevens, which you see everywhere. Yeah, that's sort of like cheap, but even the 7-Eleven is still pretty good. But in general, the standard very high in Japan. You will have to, unless you're going to be in one of the main cities, you will have to learn a bit of Japanese. It is the cosmopolitan stuff is like, yeah, it can be a little bit boxy. However, the countryside, those traditional houses, beautiful, exquisite, and you've got to have the onsens as well, got to have the baths and all of that stuff. So my instinct straight away, if you want your dollars to go further, say if you're in retirement or something and you've got a fixed income, then of course you want to be going to a cheaper country, but ideally with a good standard of living. Japan has a very high standard of living, but your dollars will go a lot further. I was astonished. And we're talking like, we were eating good meals for like 6, 7, 8 pounds. Let's say £6. Yeah, and that would get you a wonderful ramen and maybe something on the side. And £6 is about $8.50, something like that. So imagine, like, you know how expensive it is to eat out in the States. I'm going off a tangent now because I was in the States last year. Jeez, the prices. Yeah, Japan, with like, so imagine you spend $10 for a meal, and that is going to be delicious food. And it's probably going to be 2 courses, maybe 3 if it's a super cheap place that you're going, but 2 courses. Yeah. And a ramen and maybe a side. Yeah. Something like that. You're looking at maybe $10. And I'm not even joking. I was just there. Anyway, right. Oh my God. What was I going to be reading on? I just yeah, that I got distracted by the Japan. Someone's saying here she was beyond extinction, and was saying she was connected directly to Epstein. That's why she is assigned. She was assigned in 19 to his case, and why Don hired her to cover it all up. Yeah, I would certainly agree. All right, let's take a look here at some of your questions. Yes, so the issue with Trump, let's do one of your questions, and we'll get more into his the affliction he has. So let's see, rumors ask around just when I wanted to buy. Let's do this actually. This is coming from Marsh to Meadow. Rumors and articles going around about Jeff Bezos wanting to buy the Condé Nast portfolio of magazines Vogue, Wired, Vanity Fair, Teen Vogue, etc. Oh God, I hope not. Some say Vanity Fair has say Vanity and as a gift for new wife Lauren. Wow. But some say to control media, as both Wired and Teen Vogue are very influential in thought and articles during this time. Do you see this happening? Oh, God. It should not be allowed to happen. It's already bad enough that Condé Nast owns so many things. If Jeff Bezos gets his mitts on that, that's what they do. They want to control everything. They're megalomaniacs, these people. Absolute sociopathic megalomaniacs. Douchebagging. You know, sociopaths. Let's see. There we go. I'm not sure how they can resist it, really. Let's see. Oh, bloody hell. Well, look, his cards don't look great, but I'm thinking it might not be great for Condé Nast. Look, if we look here, he gets the world card. Wow, there's 694 of you with me now. Thank you so much for joining me. He gets the world card. The world card literally talks about cycles, yeah? Grand cycles. Oh, I've got to undo my shoes. Grand cycles coming to an end and new ones beginning. However, we are also talking about a sociopathic megalomaniac. What this says to me is that he probably wants to rule the world, quite literally, yeah? He wants the world, yeah? Wants to control everything. However, there might be some challenges. If we look here in the obstacle position, we have the 9 of Swords, and this is a card of strife, yeah? Worry. You don't have to be a tarot reader to understand this card, do you? Forgive me as I untie my shoes. I don't want my feet to swell up. So there is an element of concern and worry. This is happening in the obstacle position. I don't think it's so much the concern for Jeff Bezos. It's probably more the concern for Condé Nast and maybe some of these magazines that risk being bought up by this guy, because they're probably thinking, what's that going to mean for our jobs? Yeah. What's going to mean for our freedom? Swords also deal with the mind, the intellect. Lots of swords in this spread. If we look here, we get the 8 of Swords, you know, the woman in the red dress trying to navigate. She's sort of like tied up and she's trying to make her way through. I think this might be talking about the Condé Nast employees. They probably feel they're in a bind. Condé Nast might feel they're in a bind because obviously Bezos has the money. Yeah, they say Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, but you've got to remember most of his stuff is connected with government contracts. That is not the case for Bezos. Yeah, we all use Amazon even when we don't want to. Yeah. If we look here, well, not everyone, but you know, he's hard to avoid. They owe me money actually. Amazon, you owe me money. Yeah, they owe me royalties, you know, for my book. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. If we look here, look, you see the 10 of Swords. Yeah, 10 of Swords here, which again talks about endings. Yeah, endings, betrayal. And then we've also got here the World card, yeah, which is also talking about a cycle coming to an end. Could this be the end of their autonomy? Yeah, they might feel betrayed. And if we look here, we get the 10 of Pentacles, which is the card of legacy. Yeah, it's the only one that's got all family members. You got the granddad, you got the children, you got the grandchildren, you got the dog. Yeah. Also talks about institutional wealth and legacies. This also can talk about the GOP, but just very powerful institutions. So my instinct is that unless the watchdog comes in to say no, but you got to remember, a lot of this stuff has been gutted by Doge. A lot of these safeguarding institutions have been gutted by Doge. Let's not forget who was there at the inauguration. Jeff Bezos was there as well. You know, which means they're all talking with each other, which means they're all strategizing for how they can get more domination and control. So my gut instinct is that there might be a bit of resistance, but I think he may get it. I don't even want to say that, but I think he may get it. Yeah. This government is corrupt. Yeah. This government is corrupt. But thanks so much for your question. I wish I could have been a bit more positive there, but, you know, I've got to say what I see, isn't it? Right. Let's see who else is in the house. Let's see here. Oh, this is strange. Okay, so Norm says we need rain. We are in drought in Texas. Yeah, except not in that little bit. By the way, that was where the eclipses ran through, where they went one crossed through the other. The eclipse crossed through that part that had the deluge. Thingy Bob County. Oh, crap. You know what I'm talking about. It's gone out of my head. But it seems the rest of Texas, well, Texas is a very big state. It's big, isn't it? It's huge. So yeah, maybe broader Texas actually needs a bit of rain. We're actually getting some rain tomorrow, and I'm actually looking forward to it, believe it or not. We've been having a glorious summer, but we need rain as well. It's got to rain one day of the week, you know, just to keep everything green. What's this here? Beyond Extinction saying, Kaylee, me too, assigned to protest hangover. Oh, what's this? KN saying, I didn't disturb the household. I'd be up baking. I've turned into a baker, apparently, waking up at 2:30 a.m. and wanting to cook. Yeah, cooking as well. It's because it's calming, isn't it? It's calming. It's because all of us, our emotions are so high. We're just feeling it a lot, aren't we? We're feeling it. Donna's saying, being born and raised, lovely profile picture. Being born and raised South Floridian, it's always been known about this. His best buddy, Jeffrey and Donnie, and Jeffrey were everywhere together. They were like two peas in a pod. Yeah, and then Jacqueline says, these people who are part of Epstein's world are a bunch of lechers. Yeah, absolutely they are. Right, let's read another question. First of all, let me just share with you what this condition is so we know what we're talking about. Yeah, I want to make sure I get it right. So here we are. So I looked it up. Yeah, looked it up. So you guys can see here, chronic venous insufficiency, CVI. This is what Duck Larange has been diagnosed with. Chronic venous insufficiency, CVI, happens when your leg veins become damaged and can't work as they should. Normally, valves in your leg veins keep blood flowing back up to your heart. But CVI damages those valves, causing blood to pool in the legs. Ooh, that's why Duck Larange has been having swollen legs. This increases pressure in your leg veins and causes symptoms like swelling and ulcers. Oh dear. Overview. Remember, Saturn in the 8th house. This is going to be over a 2-year and loose change influence on Duck Larange. It means it was always there, lurking in the background. We know he doesn't necessarily have the healthiest diet. But this is what Saturn will do. If there's something there, you know, he'll bring the stick. Don't get me wrong, Saturn is an amazing planet, but he causes problems, yeah? What is chronic venous insufficiency? So chronic venous insufficiency is a form of venous disease that occurs when veins in your legs are damaged. As a result, the veins, can't manage blood flow as well as they should, and it's harder for blood in your legs to return to your heart. CVI causes blood to pool in your leg veins, leading to high pressure in those veins. CVI can happen due to damage in any of your leg veins. These include your deep veins, which are large veins deep in your body that run through your muscle, superficial veins, which are those on your skin's surface, and perforating veins, which connect your deep and superficial veins. CVI may cause mild symptoms at first, but over time, this condition may interfere with your quality of life and lead to serious complications. Chronic venous insufficiency, post-thrombotic syndrome. Both terms refer to the same problem with damaged legs veins. Post-thrombotic syndrome is chronic venous insufficiency, caused by deep vein thrombosis. DVT is a blood clot. Wow, in a deep vein in your leg. Post-thrombotic means after a blood clot, which is also called a thrombosis, a thrombus. After blood clot is gone, it can leave scar tissue that damages your vein. About 20 to 50% of people who've had DVT develop post-thrombotic syndrome, usually within 1 or 2 years. Wow. This disease in general is very common. Oh, varicose veins. In about 1 in 3 adults each year, 1 in 50 adults with varicose veins go on to develop chronic venous insufficiency. Usually, chronic venous insufficiency usually affects people over the age of 50. The risk goes up the older you get. Obviously, Trump is not spring chicken anymore. Overall, chronic venous insufficiency affects about 1 in 20 adults. So let's stop the share there. So basically, if Duck Larange doesn't maintain himself, right, that's it. The thing is, the danger is the blood clots, because the blood clots can go to the brain and you can be, can have a stroke. Someone's saying here, Deborah Holmes, I'm repeating last year's trauma. I wish I didn't have to deal with my issues while the world is crashing at the same time. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that, Deborah, because the Mercury retrograde is just, you know, it's just bringing up a lot of stuff for people. Oxocat says, I'm also doing lots of meditation. Mary McSorley says, happy to be here with you, Hogarth. Much appreciated. It's 724 of you now. Ooh. Let's see here. JC is saying, I'm overwhelmed by these charts. I know they make sense, but my woman's intuition tells me all these planets are far up the dark, the dark stars. Well, you don't have to understand the chart, but just understand what I was saying about Saturn being in Pisces, yeah? Destroying illusions and delusions, yeah? But it's also causing a lot of angst and upset because the world as we thought we understood it is not what is. And for these Magatonians, yeah, this is why, you know, these men are weeping, yeah? Because they you know, because they're getting their reality check, yeah? What's this here? Cecilia says, we have known the orange freak has serious health issues for a long time. He is now releasing his chronic venous insufficiency that causes swollen ankles and bruising hand. Is he looking for sympathy to distract Epstein's fiasco, or the symptoms are so obvious that he can no longer cover up? I would say probably a bit of both. Let's read. Let's see. Let's do a read on Duck L'Orange and see what's going on with Mr. Douchebag. I think, to be honest as well, look, there have been issues, isn't it, for a while. And as you know, us readers have been saying for a long time, he has something chronic. And I will find that video for you. I'm sure it's on Hogarth's Financial Astrology, where I talk about, and I said Trump could have some major health issues once Saturn starts going through his eighth house. And I said he'll be dealing with issues of scandal as well, shame and disgrace. Yeah, we know that he's absolutely scandalous and disgraceful anyway, but in terms of his base, yeah. So Duck L'Orange, huh? What's going on with Duck L'Orange? So Ducky Doodah. You got your deep vein stuff. And what you got to remember is, look, it doesn't mean he's going to be exiting stage left just yet. He will have the best physicians, of course, you know, because he's the president. You know, maybe one of them could slip him a certain liquid, perhaps, you know, and, you know, rid the world, give us an obituary that everyone's looking forward to. But no, I don't want to be wicked. But you know what I mean? It's just like, it's just too much. He's not good for anyone, you know, except for the super rich, of course. But they're not good for anyone either. I'm not anti-wealth, but it's just like this cutting 880 billion from ordinary Americans and then giving it to the top 1%. Go, you know what, yourself. That is just absolutely outrageous. Oh, wow. This is pretty serious. This is serious. All right. King of Wands. Yeah, this can also be standing for Duck L'Orange. Here he is, spouting his fire and brimstone, yeah, calling his base idiots and all of this kind of stuff. So he's almost in this Kings of Wands mode, because the shadow of this card can be aggression, rudeness, yeah. You know, not being very nice. Duck L'Orange. Feeling the heat, yeah. Literally feeling the heat. Look. He gets the Tower card in his obstacle position. Yeah, this shock, the deep vein stuff, but it's not only just that. What's it called again? I can never remember it. The chronic venous insufficiency. It's not just that. Remember, his base as well is also against him now. Obviously, there's still going to be one or two absolutely die hard, but his base are really against him. So we can see he's having a tower moment. Duck L'Orange, Trump is finding it difficult. Ooh, 10 of Wands, yeah, finding it difficult to carry all of this because look, even at the best of times, you know, being a global leader is a lot of pressure. Not that he's doing his job anyway, but he's now got a health condition and he's managed to, you know, he's pissed off his base. Yeah, he is feeling it. He is feeling the weight, yeah, the passage of time. Now look at this. We then get the 3 of Cups, and you see this card of celebration. You're thinking, what? Celebration? How could that be connected with Duck L'Orange? And you remember I said we shouldn't wish death on people, but this is one of the most anticipated obituaries in history, yeah? But I'm like, who could be celebrating, yeah? Look at the next card. Look at the outcome card. Death. He gets death as his outcome card. Now, as you know, we're not supposed to wish death on people and stuff like that. But just look at that combination. Yeah, like I said, it's the most anticipated obituary in history. But this, he really is in danger because you can't, when you've got the Tower, yeah, the shocking revelations combined with the hard work, so he's really feeling it, and then death. Wow, he's in trouble. Saturn really means it, you know. Saturn really is the planet of karma. Really is the planet of karma. I know everyone's saying that Saturn is in Aries. What's that? No, that wasn't it. I think I saw. Never mind, see if it comes back. Of course, in Western tropicals, Saturn would be in the sign of Aries, which would be Trump's 9th house, yeah? Which is more of a lucky house. It isn't. Saturn's in sidereal Pisces in his 8th, which is a house of death. Saturn can bring death. He does have his virtues, but he's not an easy planet. Like I said, Cancer and Leo ascendant, man, is just like, whoa, we need to watch out. Got to be very careful with Shani. Getting some clarifiers on this death card to see if it's literal. If, look, you see, I've not shuffled the cards yet. If the 4 of Swords comes out, do you remember I said, for me, the 4 of Swords can actually mean even more death than a death card, because the death card is also transformation. A transformation you can't avoid. Death can also be a transformation too. But if the 4 of Swords comes out as the clarifier, then his days really could be numbered. Because that is a mausoleum, yeah? So let's see. Let's pull some clarifiers here. Not that I'm wishing that, but, you know, let's pull some clarifiers. He friggin' deserves it, of course, for all the wicked that he's done, the way he's turned the world upside down. But let's just see what the cards say, yeah? Oh! It's about money. I think, listen, okay, look at this. Oh gosh, I've got to stop after this. I didn't realize it was an hour. Look, we get the merchant, yeah? So look, this is like dead, yeah? Say kicks the bucket or something like that. This is talking about money being paid out. Here you can see the wealthy merchant paying out money. Could this be compensation that maybe has to be paid? Someone will be getting out money, will be getting money out of that. Maybe this is to do with his will. Here we got the Ace of Wands, which is, you know, fertile new beginning, going boldly forward, initiating new projects. And then here we have the 7 of Pentacles, which I referred to as the card of ROI, return on your investment. The 8th, the death is also can be the 8th house, which deals with other people's money. So I think this is talking about crypto markets as well, believe it or not. Yeah, with all this together. Or something in Trump's will. There's someone who stands to gain a lot of money. the obvious thing would be his children, yeah, because the Saturn is also aspecting the 5th house of children from his 8th with the backward square. I don't think it's just the world that will be happy once he's gone. Remember, there's 3 women here as well on this card. Ivana, and maybe the other sisters and a sister-in-law. I'm going out on a limb there, but do you see? I'm just reading the energy of the cards, because that to me looks like an inheritance. Yeah, the money gets paid out. There's a fresh new beginning, and then the money's invested. Yeah, invested somewhere. We already know what Trump's stuff is already out in the open, unless he's going to be doing some new investments. But no, here, look, the king is toppled in the death card. Even when the Pope pleads, the king is still toppled. I think that's talking about inheritance. So we'll have to see, but Duck L'Orange, you're in danger, girl. Let's just leave it there. Thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Let me just scroll down. Oh yes, Lavanga says the 8th house is also connected to the lower body genitalia, elimination organs. Well, apparently he wears nappies already, isn't it? Lynette Ray says, I can't watch anymore. The chicken is burning. Kane says, Hoagie, turn off the oven. Let's leave it there. Many of you are just saying that the chicken, what's it called? Suzanne saying, chicken? Is Hogarth roasting a chicken for dinner? It's all right, don't worry. The oven has been switched off. That is going to turn into a delicious breakfast. What's it called? And let's finish. Hemlock says, it looks like we are going to see all of this Epstein business. He just sued WSJ and Murdoch. Oh, really? Waiting for discovery. Well, of course he's going to try and cover it up. Nicole, yeah, Alex Jones is losing his you-know-what, SHIT. Yeah, and that's a really good point. Oxocat said, I'm really sad that the victims have gotten lost in this story. I'm always praying for the victims. I'm a survivor of child, right? Yeah. And a lot of people that have suffered from this are living old memories. You're absolutely right, Oxford Cat. You're absolutely right. And that's why as well I added that thing, because you know when we do like our collaboration show, we often have some laughs and jokes and stuff. And you know, some of the cards for Pam Bondi were hilarious, but I said, look, let's not remember this is a very, very serious scenario, and for many people this is also very triggering as well. So if you are a victim, you know, of assault and stuff like that in the past, I can understand this is also a very difficult time for you guys, because everyone of course is talking about, you know, Epstein and stuff like that. So you're right. Yes, the victims need to be remembered. So thanks for that. Let's see here. Kaylee is saying 8 sucks that it took something happening to them personally to open their eyes. Yep, that's true. And then Nicole Fennis, Alex Jones called Trump a conspiracy theorist today. Really? Alex Jones, did he? Ooh. And then someone saying, Wanda Santos is saying, and it's the ones who put on the macho bravado exterior. Yeah, it's just a front, guys. It's just a front. The more kind of they are, the more vulnerable they are. Because when you're a real man, you don't have to do that. Yeah, people will know. Yeah, you don't have to act up. You don't need to do this kind of stuff. Anyway, I will leave it there. Thank you so much for everyone for joining me. And let's see how this unfolds. Yeah, Mercury is going to be retrograde for about 3 weeks, guys. 2.5, 3 weeks. No, actually 3 weeks, because it's only just begun. So stick in there. As he speeds up returning, it's going to feel a bit better. But yes, a lot of you will be feeling old emotions come up from the past. You know, so So you know you'll be feeling that. And just someone here, just Tyrell, just said, just to let you know, as I drove home tonight, a residence placed a sign on their driveway saying Trump for prison. Good, it's brilliant. Yes, let's leave it there. So thank you so much everyone for joining me. Big love. God, it was what, 766 of you or something like that in tonight. Please be sure as well to like and subscribe, and check out my friend Fran. I'll put the link in the video description below so you can check her out. She's fabulous, very, very talented. Neuro reprogramming and all of this stuff helped me a lot. I will leave it there, and you'll see me next week. Yeah, next week. So anyway, big love for now, and see you soon. All right, cheers. Bye-bye.